Did we finish going through the survey? I see that we talked about wildfire.
Our homework was to review the plan and review current plan and policy changes.
Okay.
And so I wrote down some questions and then wrote down the policies that I was concerned about.
Super duper.
Well, it's nice of you to have this 1-on-2 meeting.
Yeah, I know, right?
I'm not sure who unknown is, but
well, there's you and me. I don't see anybody else. And then Ruby hasn't joined yet.
All right.
And let me pull up the area plan. Thank you for doing your homework. I'm very impressed.
Well, I appreciated the letter from the ranch in Middletown, and I'm kind of hoping, I don't know if you've seen that, but I'm kind of hoping it goes out to the Lower Lake Action or Local Area Plan Committee.
Was that the letter from Luchetti?
Yes. I also shared out the ag flyer to my neighbor across the highway who's trying to set up a farm to restaurant greenhouse.
Oh, I love it.
Yes. So
that is such a great idea.
He's not sure. He had a family emergency, but he said if he's not available to make it in person, he would write a letter for me to deliver. So
wonderful.
Yeah.
Yeah, that could be part of our ag diversification.
Yes.
That's a really good idea. I hadn't even remembered that. Good thinking.
So something that caught my attention this morning, we are in the midst of looking at property out here, and my son is anxious for us to buy another piece so that he can move into my house. And so doing my research, I wanted to see, okay, so what am I going to charge my son to live in my house?
Yeah.
And I was shocked when I put in 3-bedroom, 3-bathroom houses. There were less than a dozen in Lake County.
Yeah. I'm not surprised.
Less than a dozen.
We do not have a lot of housing stock available.
That terrifies me.
Yeah. You and me both.
And then we have a lot of new people buying properties out here, and a couple of them are realtors, and they're like, oh, we need to develop. And I'm like, whoa, 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 time out. Number one, live here a year, pay to have water trucked in, and then tell me how many new neighbors you want using your.
Yeah, right.
So it's tough. Gosh.
Spoken like a local.
Yeah, I know.
You know what? I think I've been here long enough that even though sometimes I feel like I'm still an import or an outsider, I have adopted the inherent distrust for people who move here from out of the area and are like, oh, thank goodness I'm here. I'm going to save you all now, you know?
Yeah.
And that's a definite local attitude that is now mine. I'm like, okay, buddy.
Two neighbors that one is from Marin and the other one came from Oakland. And when COVID hit, my husband says, you need to pick a side. You stay here where you're safe, or you go down there and stay down there. Do not bring that stuff up here.
Right? Yeah.
Here you have neighbors that will share their eggs, their milk, anything you need, they will share with you. Except we do not want you bringing.
Yeah. Yeah.
So it's interesting.
This was a good place to be during COVID. You know, I would have Zoom meetings with my friends out in New York City who had not left their apartment in a month.
Yeah. Yeah. My daughter, San Diego, same thing.
It was too dangerous.
And they lived in a 650-foot bungalow.
Yeah. Oh,
I would kill my husband.
that's so bad. Yeah.
No,
Yeah,
because, and
somehow
I
we
worked
made it.
for Ukiah Unified, so I got to work from home. So I got to look out my window at my 30 acres.
Yeah, that's nice. I was with the city of Ukiah through the pandemic, and it was wonderful because Sage San Giacomo, he pivoted so quick and sent everybody home. And so I worked from home for like a year and a half.
Yeah. And I told them, I retired a couple years ago, and I said, honestly, if I could have kept working 2 days from home and 3 from the office there in Ukiah, I'd still be working. And they said, well, why didn't you say that? We could have.
Right.
I don't know how my coworkers would have appreciated that.
Yeah, I do work virtually now more than I ever really had thought I would. But it's also important. Like planners in general, we're very collaborative. You stick us out in an island for too long and, we get bored. So it is nice to be back in the office, and the rest of the team, now that I'm a director, they like to see that I'm around.
Yes.
And maybe I'm working today. Yeah.
Yeah, I was a director of personnel commission over there for Ukiah Unified. So
that sounds like a big job.
HR is my passion, and I still, everybody's like, you should consult, and I'm like, I would love to if I could figure out the logistics of it. But I absolutely loved that job.
Great.
Even after COVID, when nobody wanted to go back to work because they were being paid more to stay home and do nothing, then I still loved it.
Yeah. I got some really good work done when I was working from home.
Oh, yeah.
I didn't have the distractions.
Right.
But I did miss the people.
Yeah.
So. All right, 2 more minutes. I kind of, before we jump into the goals, objectives, policies, and implementations. Hi, Ed.
Hello.
There's this really good page on Lower Lakes area plan that I don't see in the other ones, but it's page number 1, just major planning issues. I was hoping we could start with that one to see what we want to keep.
Find that. Let's see.
And I'll share screen too so that we can all see it.
Oh, good. Okay.
In fact, where's my Lower Lake? Today, person. You know what? I think we're going to need another virtual meeting just to finish up our policies and procedures review. It's taking a little longer than I actually hadn't really figured it out. So it is taking a little bit of time. What I think we're going to do is I'll work on some and staff will work on other area plans and just kind of create a table or a list of all of the policies and procedures. That way I can get them out to every LAPAC, and when we really dive into these, we'll have sort of a checklist. But it'll be quicker and easier, I think, for everybody to kind of review. We just have to get it done. On? Yes, I can hear you. Can you hear us?
Uh-huh.
Excellent. Have you been any place interesting lately before we get started?
Just Yosemite.
Ooh, that's pretty good.
Fabulous.
That was the LAFCO annual conference.
Oh, how nice. How did that go? Was it interesting?
It was so-so. I mean, I've been to better ones, but I've been to a lot worse ones too. It was okay. It was just kind of normal. But it's great to network with those people.
Yeah.
I like the LAFCO people.
I bet. Yeah. It's always an interesting mix, I think. I used to like looking at the roster when I was downstairs, because it's quite a varied mix of people, even per jurisdiction. So that must make for very interesting meetings.
That's right. Yeah.
It's funny you mentioned that 2.1 major planning issues, because it brought up most of my questions about like the Twin Lakes issues, the water, the sewer, development between Lower Lake and Twin Lakes, commercial use area out there by Clayton Creek, which I was totally unaware of. My son has modern RV, country boats and bikes and modern RV. And so recognizing that whole area out there past him is supposed to be heavy industrial, commercial, was interesting to me.
Now, since the original Lower Lake Area Plan was adopted, the Lower Lake Water District has extended its lines out to Twin Lakes. They don't have sewer, but they do have water now.
I was wondering about that.
That's good to know.
That was a big
I
problem.
heard that they went all the way to Parker Plastics, or what used to be Parker Plastics.
It's not still?
No. It's a they do oh shoot, what is it called? Edibles. It's a manufacturing. They're using marijuana, and they're creating the secondary. Anyways, so yeah, that it used to be.
Wait, where is that?
Yeah.
Highway 29, south of Twin Lakes.
Yes, south of Lower Lake on the left-hand side.
Across from Murphy Springs, yeah.
Right. Yeah, they were a good company. They had only 10 or 12 employees, but they had good benefits, and they worked a 4-day, 10-hour week. I really liked them. I wondered what happened.
Yeah, my dad worked there when I was a kid. It was one of his jobs, and of course they went to 4 days a week right after he left them. But
oh, yeah.
Is this Twin Lakes? I never remember where they're located. But
yes,
that's Twin Lakes. Okay.
Is that C Street right there?
Yep. Okay.
Yeah.
I'm going to go get my glasses.
Huh. So where was the cannabis place?
So it's a little further south.
Yeah, this industrial place?
Down around the corner, down from that even. Yep, right.
There's Old Highway 29.
That's Hoffacker right there. So it's above Hoffacker. Where's Murphy Springs?
Yeah, where's Murphy Springs?
There's Agua Dulce, Murphy Springs.
Okay, it's north of that, just a little north of that. Right?
I think we had Murphy
right there
Springs.
at the top. The pink is the top. Yeah.
This pink stuff?
Yep, right there.
Oh, yeah. Okay, how interesting.
Yeah.
All right. Well, it looks like it's just us three.
Oh, okay.
We're going to get stuff done.
Right.
All right. First of all, there are a couple of things that could use some clarification that were suggested to me to tell LAPACs. So I wanted to do that just in case you are experiencing the same stress that some other people are experiencing on LAPACs. Because I am pretty much running you guys ragged. And it is a fire hose, and it is a lot of emails and meetings. So one thing, this is not the end. We're in a mad dash right now to gather as much input as possible on a number of key issues for the area. But the reason why I call it LAPAC season is because of the deadlines that we have in our grants. Like we're using the ARPA grant, and it has definite both encumbrance and finish project deadlines that are hard. And hard meaning, I mean finite. I can't move them. And so because of that and secondarily, and I think that I blame myself that I missed this in the agreement with the contractor, there was never a local area plan advisory committee step in the scope of work. And that's why it looks like this is, the Maria Turner show, because we got to a point, we got started, and I just realized there's no way we're going to have buy-in on a community visioning document for a local area plan without an advisory committee for that area plan. And so that's why I took it to the board and asked them, and the board, of course, realized, yeah, that's really important. And so they created the LAPACs, which are mine, not the whole team. So, and also why we have only LAPAC season, which ends in mid-November. But
there's no way to get an extension?
Well, no, not exactly. However, what I want everybody to know is that I'm just going to leave you guys alone during the holiday season, because once we gather all this input that we're going to get and start handing it over to the drafting team works through November, December, maybe a little into January, and then we're going to have draft local area plans to look at. That's when I'm going to start calling back all the LAPAC members that we can take a look at the draft and say, okay, this is missing, that's not quite right. That's when we're going to start again. So I wanted you to make sure you know that this is not the end of your input options.
I'd like to register, this is nothing personal, but I have a complaint about, there's a public meeting. It's important to have a live public meeting. I really think so, but it's scheduled on election day of all days. I can't make it. I don't know how many other people have plans on election day. Some people even volunteer as poll workers.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, there's not a lot of room for wiggling around that I had, because I'm doing evening meetings every day that week.
Oh, geez.
And almost every day the next week too. Yeah.
Well, is it going to be recorded so that I can at least watch it?
We've had trouble with that, getting access to be able to run meetings. But you know what? Let me reach out to Bruno and see if we can get
the PEG TV down there.
Yeah, get PEG TV. A lot of it is in person, but we'll see. But it's more of like a group meeting rather than a large seminar style. So maybe we can just all have our group meeting around a microphone, and Thomas can film it or something.
Okay.
Let's see. Trying to put this on a spot to reach out to Bruno to see if we can do that. Regarding PEG in person. That's a great idea. Okay, awesome. Let's see, what else? Someone suggested at a different meeting also that they were going to, they came from an area of expertise. Okay, it was Betsy. You guys know Betsy, right?
Oh, yeah.
So she was saying that she's working on a document just to sort of highlight all of the priorities or concerns from her area of expertise, senior services, and she's going to send that in, because the information could resonate throughout not only all the area plans, but also the general plan countywide elements as well. So I wanted to extend that idea to you both to see if there's anything that you really want to make sure we have captured. And you have any time to write stuff down. Like Marty, I totally recommend those dinners in the field, or connecting ag with events.
Restaurant.
Yeah. Make sure you capture that and send it in as well, because I want to. Sometimes when we have even these groups, even when they're larger groups, the conversation gets steered according to who's there and what they're saying, and so I want to make sure that areas that are of your interest or your background. I think we just lost Marty. Get captured.
Okay.
So feel free to do that. Lastly, go ahead.
What is this table that I'm looking at?
Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't stop sharing. That is my that's my LAPAC schedule for the next 2 weeks.
Well, there's nothing on Tuesday the 5th.
Right here, 5 to 7 p.m. is in person. That just means I don't have any other
I see.
times that day. Yeah.
I didn't look down
see,
far enough.
it's
Sorry.
by day on the columns, and then the rows, I didn't freeze panes. The rows here are by LAPAC.
Okay, I get it. Sorry.
No, you're fine. I forgot that
Sorry, my phone hit my keyboard and I was gone.
Oh, yeah, that happens.
So
There.
yes, I
okay,
will
so
make
that's my
note.
LAPAC schedule, but let's. And feel free to make suggestions too, because I've pretty much told all the stuff that I'm doing, all the different organizations and groups that I'm not going to be around. It's LAPAC season. That's my top priority right now.
Well, I'm sure glad you're doing this.
It's so important, isn't it?
It is so important, and it's so overdue.
Totally. Oh, yeah. Particularly for Lower Lake. Okay. Wait, let's go back to that thing. Because another thing, Ed, that I was talking to Marty about before you came online, is that our staff is going to work on, I did tell you, consolidating a list of goals and objectives and priorities. Right. And in fact, this weekend when I'm not helping Denise and Loretta harvest walnuts or Sunday helping Miley harvest persimmons on her tree, that's what I'm going to be working on, is creating these documents. So I'm wondering if you want to reschedule this virtual meeting for sometime next week so that when you have that checklist, we'll all go down that checklist together.
I'm gone the 6th through the 12th, so.
Oh, cool. Okay. Well, then let's keep going. We will just go through without that list. Let's start here. Major planning issues.
Yes.
Taking a look at that list, do you see anything that is not of great concern still in Lower Lake?
Did you put it up on the screen?
Oh, I'm losing it. It's totally Friday.
I can't see it at all.
I know. I was sharing screen. Okay. Yeah, no problem.
Oh, okay.
There you go. Okay. Resource issues. Impact of proposed geothermal public power line. I'm guessing okay, keeping in mind that this is a really old plan.
Right.
And we're not getting a geothermal public power line. We could use that same question for full circle.
Underground?
Yeah, actually we could. Yeah, what do you all want to do with that one?
Underground power lines.
We need to do undergrounding as much as we can because of the fire problem.
And I'm tired of fighting PG&E tree service leaving debris and creating more of a fire hazard than the power lines.
Okay, I know what you mean. They come out to my place too.
One moment, and okay, sorry. Ed, you'll understand this. Tony Farrington has been hounding me for a question about something he wants to do. So I already rebuffed one of his calls, and that was just somebody jabbering me, sending me an instant message on the counter saying he's on the phone. So you get it. You know, Tony.
I definitely get it.
Right? I'm going to ignore it from here on out now, though. Okay, so from resource issues that impact or proposed the GPPL, what we want to make sure we capture is our ongoing concern about underlying power lines, right? Undergrounding? Good.
Yes.
Okay. One moment. Let me get to my notes. Lower Lake. Okay. Major planning issues. What we want to keep is undergrounding important. Okay. Preservation of unique open space and wildlife. I mean, anybody want to argue with that one? I don't think so.
No.
That's one of
I don't
the.
know what happened. I disappeared for a few seconds, but I'm back. I don't know what happened. Sorry.
Okay. Can you see it now?
Yes, I'm back. I got a message that said something went wrong. We're trying to get you connected again. And then finally it came back up.
So the only thing I could see adding to that is, and I see it under public services, adequate water supply. So the other resource issue, I would say maybe, is sufficient housing. But the caveat is keeping housing development where services are available and not impeding on our open spaces, ag areas.
Right. Smart growth.
Yes.
Yes, exactly. Good.
So-
That's consistent pretty much with every planning area that we are not opposed to development. We just don't want it to negatively impact our rural character.
Right. We don't need sprawl in Lake County.
Right.
No.
Right. Smart development. Remember that term? That was a big one like 10, 20 years ago. Smart growth, smart development, it here means not negative impact to rural character. Okay. Public safety issues. If we're done with resource issues, is there anything else you can think of on resource?
No.
Not off the top of my head. That's not addressed elsewhere.
Yeah. Public safety issues. Ooh, that's a smart one. That was kind of prescient. Wasn't it? Develop standards designed to protect areas from high fire hazard.
Yeah.
Those folks were looking ahead. Little did they know. That's still, of course, an ongoing priority. Development in areas with inadequate wastewater systems.
I would say water and wastewater, but I mean, we all have septics.
Mm-hmm.
And the county does a good job of their permit process.
Well, yeah. There are some areas in the Lower Lake area, particularly out between Copsey Creek and Herndon Creek, where when the water table gets high in the wintertime, the septic tanks are underwater.
True.
That is what I would call an inadequate wastewater system. We don't allow any new developments in floodplains, but that's an old development that's still there, and people buy lots and want to build on them.
Right. So it just seems like moving forward that there would need to be an inspection to make sure that any new development does not have that issue. When Eric and I first bought out here, our first parcel, we had that issue. The septic would flood every winter. So now we have a new residence and the old one is gone, but so we don't have that issue any longer. And the new development out here, the inspectors do a good job of making sure that it's not above a pond or a creek, those kinds of things.
Okay, so how about this? Future development must be cognizant of either safe parcel infrastructure or access and capacity to connect to municipal water and or sewer. By parcel infrastructure, I mean the wells and septics. Parcel specific. Okay, good. Human resource issues. Restoration of historic downtown Lower Lake. This is an ongoing top priority amongst all the planning areas in the second survey is preservation of the historic assets that we have, particularly the aesthetics that in some of our main streets.
And I think the Lower Lake Business Association has done a really good job of really encouraging businesses to keep that old town look and modify the more modern into a more historic to keep the aesthetics of that downtown area.
And I'm sorry, this is going to show my ignorance. Does the Lower Lake area plan have design guidelines?
I don't believe so.
I
Do
don't
you
recall any.
You know the ones that we have in Middletown that are pretty specific because they're maintaining that western sort
Right.
of
Right.
town. Do you think it should be a priority that we put in the area plan that during this next life of this area plan we work on developing design guidelines?
Yes.
I agree.
Okay.
Now, there's been a lot of work done on the Lower Lake Schoolhouse Museum. I'm looking at item 3.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
I don't know whether that is relevant anymore because it's pretty well developed.
You know what? But it does shed a lot of light on why Kelly was so adamant about taking care of that structure.
Oh, yeah.
Right.
And it still needs work on the foundation. That there's been a ton of money and labor and energy put into that building, but it's still sitting on a pile of unreinforced rocks.
Yikes.
It just needs to have, maybe a steel framework or something put underneath it to hold it up in case the rocks all fall apart in an earthquake.
Yeah. Okay. All right. So yes, priority to develop design guidelines during the life of this area plan, though I think we're going to probably get a little more specific, like within the next 5 years. Next 5 years. One moment, I want to capture that because I'm going to forget. And then preserve and maintain historic schoolhouse museum, including retrofitting that foundation. Because sometimes we can find grants that are specific for that, for preservation. So we want to make sure we capture that.
Good.
What about installation of curb gutter sidewalk downtown Lower Lake?
Yes.
Okay. Right.
To and from the school would be great.
To and from the school. Huh.
And actually, that's a specific grant that comes up, the Safe Routes to Schools grants.
Right.
So what we need to do then is put a priority here, curb gutter sidewalk in particular, between downtown and school district. Is that where?
Yeah, because you've got Carlay, which is out a ways, that has nothing. You have, a couple of alternative ed schools, and then you've got the high school, you've got Lower Lake Elementary.
Right.
And now with, the expanding ag department and everything, it sure would be nice.
Okay. So curb gutter sidewalk in particular between schools and downtowns for student pedestrian travel.
Great.
Correct.
Good. Land use and circulation. So they wanted sufficient heavy commercial and industrial to accommodate projected uses, which I don't know what those projected uses were. Sufficient area for future retail and construction of bypass. Huh.
I know. I was like, oh, bypass.
No kidding.
Where would they go?
What happened to that?
It's not like, Willits that we can just go way over yonder. There's not really any wiggle room around here.
Go through Kugelman?
I know. Oh, I bet, a lot of people would really like that actually, but that would take care of one problem we have at Kugelman.
Yeah.
Huh. So sufficient heavy commercial and industrial lands to accommodate projected uses. This is something that I want us to talk about in our in-person meeting because we're going to be looking at the community growth boundaries changing. And that's where you're going to put your heavy commercial or your industrial also.
Something that would be helpful to have is what are the projected growth for the Lower Lake area? Do we know those numbers or,
down in Lower Lake, there was, under the current plan, there was an auto repair facility that was allowed to go in across the street from the
A&B Auto Body on Kugelman, the corner.
No, it's on Main Street, Lower Lake.
This is 5 Star. It's right across
Star.
from that was Old Mill Cafe.
Yeah, they've been there for a while, right? Behind something, aren't they a little up the hill?
And when they went in, I heard complaints from a number of people that it really wasn't compatible with the retail, commercial area.
Interesting.
Right. So I want to throw in a pitch for not letting any more of that kind of thing happen.
Okay,
Exactly.
hold on. Let's zoom in there. So we've got community commercial, that red stuff. Let's take a look at my zoning ordinance. What does that allow for?
Up, up.
C2. Yeah, okay. Beauty shops, cafes. How did they get an auto body store in there?
I have no idea.
Did they? Here's minor auto repair with a minor use permit. Okay,
There you
that's
go.
how they got it. So
Yeah, but that's pretty
minor.
big.
That's not a minor auto repair. That's a full body shop, isn't it?
Well, they've got what, 3 garage door bays? I mean,
Yeah.
it's fairly
And
large.
it's right in the heart of Lower Lake. If it had been down where the car restoration was, right across from the schoolhouse, it may not, but again, that was an old
Right.
building.
Yeah, it's
But,
too much
yeah.
in the middle of town. That's
Right.
Anyway, it was a
It's
mistake,
right
and I
across from
don't want to
Lake
repeat it.
Let's take
Yeah,
a look
it's
at
right
local
across.
commercial, because that is less impacting. That is, let's see, as soon as it fully loads, I can enlarge that. So this is cafes, coffee shops, tax consultants, like your surveyor's office, stuff like
Right.
that. Smaller stuff.
Right.
And I'm pretty sure auto is nowhere allowed in here. But you'd be limiting it if you downgraded it from C2 to C1. Go away. Wait.
Well, could we change? But the other one was with a minor use permit.
Yeah.
These are all major use permits. Well,
Oh, you're
not
right.
all.
Yeah, I was just scrolling through there. Yeah, it's not allowed even with a major. It's nowhere in there.
Right.
So let's go back to our picture. Oh, fart. The Microsoft Teams thingy is like right on the button that I want to push. Where are you? There. Okay.
Is it that big blue thing?
No, it's the red.
No, that's public facilities. It's the red stuff is all,
It's like right across from
Oh.
Lake Street.
yeah. Oh wait, actually this is C3, the brown stuff, which was the blue stuff.
Yeah, but
Right.
but the auto shop that he's talking about is almost a little across Lake Street and down right in the corner of that red.
Like right here.
Yeah,
Okay.
a little bit more. Yeah, right in there somewhere. Right there.
Yeah, I don't know how that happened unless they got a minor use permit, which that was before my time, but we can check our records.
Yeah.
But a minor use permit, though, does allow for a hearing. It's kind of pretty much the same process as a major use permit, only it has a zoning administrator hearing rather than a planning commission hearing. So, first of all, I think we need a very clear definition on what a minor auto body place is versus a major. And then maybe we don't really need to do anything except enforce to make sure that what is minor stays minor.
That
Okay.
and I think that the design thing that we talked about, where it needs to stay within the theme of the town. You can't just have a big metal building with all these historic looking buildings.
Yeah. No, and that's a good point
The
too.
design concept.
Yeah. See, so
Next,
what
yeah.
I'm not seeing is wait, go away. I'm not seeing a DR like design review, which is normal for commercial. All commercial needs design review. And so that's where that's where you'd be giving us something that we can hang our hats on, as far as ensuring aesthetics are consistent, is is setting up some design guidelines in our local area plan. Because that way we'd catch it. Because I'm not seeing a DR right here just because it's commercial, and commercial automatically needs either design or development review. So we would catch it. We just don't have anything to use as a guiding document,
right,
to maintain that historic character. All right, where was I? Let's go back. All right, so clearly define a minor auto body. And
I don't know, was it auto body or auto repair?
Oh, auto repair, you're right. Yep, you're right.
I don't mean to be picky, but I'm in a picky frame of mind.
No, be picky. Words count. Yes. Clearly define minor auto repair. Okay, good. And we have the historic design guidelines elsewhere also. One other thing you might want to know: the Heritage Commission is gradually reviving itself, and one of the things they want to work on is the historic structure ordinance. Remember, Ed, when they were working on that and it died and everybody quit?
Yeah.
So they want to revive that and start and take a look at the historic resource overlay district that we already have in our zoning article and make it more relevant and updated. Because if we can start adding either an historic district overlay covering more than one parcel, or identification in addition to the historic, like a local historic inventory list, it would qualify those parcels for potential for federal funding grants and stuff for people to maintain them.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
Great.
Yeah, so we're working on that. Land use. Oh, wait. We already talked about that. What about sufficient area for future retail? We're going to talk about that when we get in person, but is there anything you wanted me to make sure I capture regarding the retail at Lower Lake? It's pretty much mostly on that Main Street, isn't it? Or there's another road curving toward the school, I think, if I remember.
Right, that's Lake Street.
Okay.
And there was some, there used to be an auto dealership there when I was in high school at Lower Lake High, and it burned up in the fire.
Oh. Go back to that. All right. I'm going to zoom out after I put on the general plan. Yeah, there you go. That goes up. Oh, no, wait, that's the highway. I'm not looking right.
Yeah, but Kugelman, where Kugelman is, yep, there is businesses development between there and Anderson Marsh.
Yes.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah, that's true. A lot of some little county satellite offices down there.
Yeah.
Right at the highway.
And you've got Jonas, and you've got.
Yep. Yeah. Is Burton Jernigan still down there? Is he still working?
He is.
Oh, yeah. Cool.
And there's Lake County Transit.
Yeah.
Yes. Okay. Do you think this is sufficient commercial, or are you interested in seeing additional zoning to accommodate commercial development?
Good, valid question.
Usually, in order to answer that question,
we need more.
Right. Well, I ask myself if people are beating down the door
on downtown Lower Lake.
Yeah. I think it's pretty good the way it is right now. I don't want to force you to think that I'm asking for more. But I am interested because you'll hear more what's on the street as far as people looking for spots and they can't find them.
Yeah.
Right. I think it's
realize there was so much of that big red area there on the upper left side. That's a lot of land.
There's a gob of it. Yeah.
Just well, that's okay if you want to put the big old modern stuff out there and then make the downtown more of the historical,
like right here,
walk around retail, restaurants and shops and so forth.
Yeah, I kind of like the way you're thinking, because sometimes people say, we don't want any chain stores, we don't want any large stores, but what they mean is we don't want it right on Main Street. Like if you guys put
Right.
someplace that's close but not impacting my main street, then we're not so against it. You know?
Right. Well, that's the way it is going out Highway 53. We've got the fast food joints.
Yep.
And you have
They
all
wouldn't want them down.
the
Downtown.
places out Kugelman with the storage sheds and the businesses out in that area that a lot of people don't even know are out there.
Right.
Yeah, totally. Yeah, and it's out of sight, out of mind unless you need something there, which is great. Kind of like what Ukiah did with setting up that airport park, business park. You know, that's where their Walmarts are and the Costco is and stuff like that. It doesn't impact the main cutesy little historic shopping center.
Right.
Good. All right, back at it. Let's see. Public service issues. Adequate water supply. Oh, that's a great idea. Water flows for fire protection.
Wow.
Also good.
What a thought. It's fire
I
protection.
know. Community service boundaries. Oh, let me see what I've got for Lower Lake too. I have been compiling maps and stuff for our in-person meetings, and I sent them out to the local area, the LAPACs, as I was sort of finishing them. Let me see what I've got for Lower Lake. I want to show you the water district map because I kind of want your input on this one to see if it's really outdated. There, that's Lower Lake. The blue means it's private. The dark blue, the light blue is private. The dark blue is public. And let's see if I can zoom in. This is also one that I pulled off the cannabis exclusion zone. So it's got, that's why it looks kind of bulbous. It's got that 1,000-foot barrier. So just imagine this slightly smaller.
Yeah.
But I didn't want Lon to have to make me a whole new map.
Okay.
So that's a private water system. Ed, what does that say to you? Do you know what systems those are?
Well,
Lower
you're
Lake.
talking about, well, how can it be private? It's the Lower Lake County Waterworks District. It's a county water district with a board appointed by the Board of Supervisors.
Then I have no idea. That doesn't make sense to me.
Unless you got your colors reversed in the
Yeah.
Maybe I have my colors
Well,
reversed. All right,
could
so it's a
be.
CSA, County County Service Area Water
No.
District. No.
it's actually I don't okay.
Lower
I'm gonna
Lake
throw in
water. Yeah.
But there's two kinds of county water districts. There's a county water district like the Conocti County Water District, which has an elected board, but it's a county water district. Then there's what they call a water works district, which is what Lower Lake is. It's a county water works district, but the board is appointed by the Board of Supervisors and not elected by the users. That's
Okay.
the difference. And the only reason I know that is because I used to have to appoint the members of it.
Right. Okay.
Now, I don't, I need to alert you to something, Maria. I
Please.
don't know if you've run into this yet, but you see over there on the lower left-hand side, that darker blue?
Yeah.
I'm not sure what that is, but I have a feeling that it's probably up in Ziegler Springs,
Yeah,
Cobb
it's
Mountain
the edge
area.
of Cobb. Yeah.
Okay. Lake Lafco won a statewide award a couple of years ago for a project that we did up there on Cobb, where there were all these little dinky tiny water
Yeah, where we
districts.
consolidated after Valley. Yeah.
Consolidated about 10 or 12 of them into one.
Right.
And you got to make sure when you're redoing the Cobb area plan that you get that updated.
Okay.
Okay. I want to make
Good.
sure you.
No, good point. Thank you. So this is all one water district then in the in Lower Lake?
Well, no, because the Cache Creek is the boundary line between Lower Lake and Clear Lake. And
Right.
on one side of it is the Lower Lake County Waterworks District, and on the other side is the Conocti County Water District.
Okay.
There's three water districts in the city of Clear Lake.
Just in the city?
Yes.
And the city doesn't own any one of them. There's a private one, there's a mutual, and a county.
Yep.
And it's a mess.
That is a mess.
And the city people are there. It's been talked about for 20 or 30 years about the idea of consolidating them into one that the city would run. But I don't know if you've been to Clear Lake lately, but there's signs saying "Save Highlands Water Company."
Yeah, I've seen that, and I've heard the radio ads. Oh my gosh, it sounds like a mess.
It is a mess, and not only that, it has spurred it infiltrated LAFCO. We even discussed it down there in Yosemite. The fact that the people on the Clear Lake City Council, particularly, what's his name? It'll come to me.
Either Russ, Kirk, Claffey,
Alan.
Nope.
2 Russes,
Yeah.
Kirk or Claffey.
It's the guy with the ponytail.
Kirk. Slutin.
Dirk.
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 Yeah, you're right.
Dirk.
1 Kirk, 1 Dirk. Okay.
Dirk
no, wait, 1
Slutin.
Russ. Yeah, anyway. Yeah,
Right.
Dirk Slutin.
But it's Dirk's pet issue. He's been trying to get information from these 3 water companies about the fire flows because he's afraid that they don't have adequate fire flows at their fire hydrants. And he's probably right.
Probably right.
But they won't give him the information. And he's trying to figure out how to force them. And the consensus
not
that came
public
out
record?
of LAFCO,
Isn't that public record kind of stuff?
in a private water company, is that public records? They're not subject to the Brown Act.
Oh.
Their meetings, yeah.
So they may not be subject to PRAs either.
Well, this may come back to the county because the consensus down in Yosemite at the LAFCO meeting was that it was the county's job, it was the county's responsibility to be able to force water companies to divulge their fire flow data. I don't know whether that's real or not, but that's what they talked about. Anyway, I'm sorry, don't want to get sidetracked too far, but the Lower Lake County Waterworks District just did a MSR. We might want to get the map.
Oh, I just lost you, Ed.
He'll be back.
Oh, yeah. Okay, we
There he
lost
is.
that last part that you said, Ed.
I know I think it must be I'm going to blame Elon Musk. I've got his Starlink internet.
Good. I like blaming Elon Musk for stuff.
I know he's on my.
Mine worked great.
Well, mine. I just blame Elon Musk for everything these days. I like it.
Yeah.
Anyhow, so I was just saying, to get an accurate map of the water district, we need to get it from Lower Lake or John Benoit.
Okay. And I'm not sure I really even need it. It would just be helpful when we have our community growth boundary talk. I thought I asked for maps a while ago from LAFCO, but maybe not. All right.
Well,
anyway, let's.
John retired, so we have a new LAFCO
I know. Yeah.
executive director.
Do we like the new one?
Yes, she's very nice.
Awesome. I'm glad to hear it.
Yep, she's smart,
I still
competent.
haven't met her.
Okay, I'll send her your way.
That would be awesome. All right, let's keep going. So maintaining capacity for emergency and infrastructure, I'm assuming is going to stay on as a current and ongoing priority.
Yes.
Yeah.
Recreational opportunities such as bike paths, horse trails, and additional park facilities. I hear this at almost every LAPAC is people want connected parks going around the lake. They want connected parks from the housing areas to town, things like that to make our communities more walkable.
Well, there's not a safe path to get from Lower Lake to Twin Lakes or, it's scary. Or even Bell Hills. Bell Hill development. You can't get from there even into Lower Lake safely.
Yeah, you got to kind of sneak around behind the gas station.
Yeah. Tear out the fences.
All right, good. We'll keep that on there. Housing issues, affordable housing for senior citizens. I mean, we could expand that to everybody now. Multifamily rental housing in Lower Lake. And housing rehab program of residential development in the rural parts of Lower Lake. We have applied for up to $7 million HUD grant, the Housing and Urban Development. And and part of that, if we do get it, would start a fund to help rehabilitate. I think it has to be stick-built housing that's under our jurisdiction. But it would help because we have a code officer grant that we got who's going to part-time spend looking at housing stock and identifying houses that need some work. So hopefully it'll be like a tag team. One will be spotting it and we'll let the people know. And if we've got mostly like our elderly and lower income, then this other grant will come in alongside to help us get done what needs to get done.
That would be awesome.
It's important to maintain the housing stock that we do have, as well as develop additional options in the future.
Well, especially for our elderly residents. I have a neighbor who's living in a beautiful home covered by plastic because she can't afford to put a new roof on it.
Oh, geez.
Yeah, I hear you. Those are expensive. I bought a teeny tiny little house in Lakeport City and I need a new roof. And it's not like I've got a bunch of money after paying my mortgage and bills and stuff now. So, but there's a solar company that I'm going to go with as soon as I can get my credit rating up high enough. And they'll replace the roof and put on the solar and a battery.
Wow.
So, I'm pretty excited. I just need to keep paying my bills on time. It'll happen. All right. So let's see. What housing issues do you want me to make sure we capture for Lower Lake area?
Middle income?
Yeah. Yeah.
There's just, or rental units. I told you I was researching. I don't know if you were on, Ed, when I said this, but we had just purchased another parcel, and my son is anxiously pushing us to build a tiny home on it so that he can move into our home. So I'm like, oh, okay, well, let's just see what that will cost you in rent a month. And when I looked at 3-bedroom, 3-baths, there were 11 in the whole county on Zillow. 11 3-bedroom, 3-bath rentals in the whole county.
Jeez. And probably none of them were in the Lower Lake area.
One was Hidden Valley, and I think one may have been in Lower Lake, but I'm not even sure about that.
Wow. Well, I mean, what it says here is pretty general and all-encompassing.
Yeah.
Yeah. So maybe no changes?
Yeah, I don't know what else to add. I mean, you could fit almost anything into what's there.
Mm-hmm. So need middle-income housing, more rental units. I think that more housing options across all economic levels would be helpful.
Yes.
Okay. Sure.
But I'm not telling you what to say. I'm just musing.
But I value your suggestions because you're dealing with all of the local area plans, and so many of us are the same. So, they may have mentioned something that we just didn't even think about. So I appreciate.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, one of the things about when you have more housing options is that people can come and go and jump through those different levels. You can downgrade the size of your house, which then opens up your previous house for family size. Families, and so you move up and down in the different housing options.
Yep.
Okay. Role of mining. Do we still do a lot of mining? Or
No.
was that in the 80s? Wasn't that kind of slowing down even then?
McLaughlin went out. That kind of took away.
Right. That the McLaughlin gold mine was the only mining in the Lower Lake area.
So what do you think are the main economic development issues facing Lower Lake right now? Marty, I can't tell if, oh, okay, you were just
I'm
very
reading
still.
it on my other screen.
I
so
thought
I'm
you
just
might have
sitting here
frozen.
trying to think about when I had talked about that industrial commercial area not even being utilized at all. There's one out there, and I think that the company owns the equipment that comes through and harvests grapes.
That's
That's the only
industrial.
thing I could think of out there, other than the storage units.
I have a question. If we took out the word mining,
Mm-hmm.
That's
and
exactly what you're talking about right now.
yeah, and then other industries, do you really need a hyphen in the word industries?
I think it got shifted. I
think that's a typo.
Yes.
Okay. And it just says industries. It doesn't say light industry or heavy industry.
You're right. I think that could use additional fleshing out.
Okay.
And the role is kind of vague. Do you mean that we want more, or we could use additional locations to place those types of industries?
Looking at the map, I would say we have sufficient area. It's just not developed and it's not utilized, in my opinion.
Yeah. Yeah, I see what you mean about the word role.
It's kind of vague, yeah.
Yeah, I don't know what to do about it, though.
Well, I don't know what they were planning, what they were trying to convey. Maybe they just didn't have the locations then, but now we've got the zoning that seems sufficient, but it just hasn't been developed. And sometimes that could tell you then that zoning is in the wrong place.
True.
You know, remember when we did, Ed, when we redid a number of the things in the shoreline communities because we're redevelopment and we're trying to set up the community centers for each community. And so we set up planned development commercial. As particularly, I'm thinking of the one over by the castle, but a lot of that land, like the picture did like 2 streets of what should be in eventually commercial, but it never happened that way. We still have residential on the outer streets. We do have commercial on the inner streets. And so that community is likely to sort of change it to reflect what's actually happened, or which is a lack of the realization of that level of community development.
Yeah. Okay.
Well, and Clayton Creek would have to, that whole intersection is such a nightmare, the way the 2 roads funnel down into one and then open back up, and Clayton Creek comes out, and it's a nightmare. And that industrial commercial is virtually right on that corner. And you would have a heck of a time convincing anyone to do anything commercial without a major improvement to that whole intersection and road of Clayton Creek.
Good to know.
I don't know that the Clayton Creek residents would want that, but they're kind of back in there.
That could be a conflict, though, if we did realize a lot of industrial development where there's residential, because that's just not 2 good uses to put together.
Well, it's not heavy residential, but there is,
That's cool. I like the pictures on this old document.
Yeah.
All right, let's find some policies. This is what I mean by scan through till we find objectives and goals and policies.
So could I 3.22?
Yeah?
Where is it?
I passed it. Soils and slope? I don't see a 3.22. I wonder.
Yeah.
Maybe I was suggesting a 3.22 question mark. East Lake Resource Conservation District.
Oh, there's 3.2, but there's no 22.
No, but let me. Okay,
Yes.
close your eyes
Okay.
because
So
I'm about
under
to make you
policy,
nauseous.
soil
I'm
and
spinning
slopes,
through the rest of it.
3.22, page
We might have stuck.
3-17.
Oh, really? Oh, okay. All right.
Yeah,
Avert your eyes.
3-17.
There. I'm zooming through 3-17.
Yeah.
There we go. There's our objectives all at the end of that chapter. Good. That makes
East
sense.
Lake Resource Conservation District should be encouraged to develop erosion control programs for critical areas in the Lower Lake Planning Area. I know we have concerns out here in our HOA about certain parcels, and I know that, like I said, that our code enforcement guys have been great. We just have a lot of areas that are on hillsides, and we see a bit of slippage each year, and we see bubbles and royals, and so I was curious about that. What if anything has happened with that?
Nothing that I know of.
Yeah.
All right.
All right.
Okay, but let's make sure we're going to keep this one, but make it more specific. So we have, typically you don't just see them listed like this. You see them more in a table because it names a responsible department and the timeline. So let's take that one and make it something that's now going to be useful. Erosion control programs in critical areas. What critical areas?
Right.
No, exactly. I'm asking you. You tell me.
Well, I don't know. Like I said, I'm out here on Hofbacker, and when I look at the hillside across from my house, I see these rolls and bubbles, and and I know that there are 3 vacant parcels on that hillside, 2 of which are currently up for sale, and that concerns me.
Are you seeing a large amount of erosion off of those parcels?
Well, it hasn't come down and hit the house at the bottom yet, and it hasn't, hit our lower road yet, but I could foresee at some point in the future it could, with enough rain. And then I also see the creeks, Sulphur Bank. Is it Sulphur Bank? At 29 Lower Lake, is that Sulphur Bank? Anyways, the creeks right there, the roads are constantly eroded from the runoffs from Copsey Creek and the other creeks right there. So that's why I'm curious where the critical areas are or were.
It sounds like you're asking for a study to identify areas, riparian areas, those are the ones that border the creek, that are vulnerable to erosion.
Right.
Okay, let's see how we word that, because we have to totally change this. I was, as you were talking, I was reading, the East Lake Resource Conservation District isn't something we have jurisdiction over anyway. So
right.
How about?
Well, it's saying that they should be encouraged to. Did they ever develop a plan, or do they have a map of a critical area? Does it even exist any longer? I guess those were kind of my questions. I should have been.
Right. Vulnerable to erosion and develop erosion management plan. Okay, so what are things? Go ahead.
Does the Lower Lake area plan go all the way to Yolo County?
Take a look at our map.
And the only reason I'm asking, I was looking at 3.33.
I think our planning area, I'm still trying to get to that, the one button I want there. Zoom out, take that off, planning areas, zoom way out. Lower Lake planning area goes all the way to the end of the county.
Wow. Okay, I didn't realize it went all the way out there.
What is that? What is that big old water body right there?
McLaughlin.
Is it? That's
Oh,
so cool.
Yeah, that's the big open pit mine full of water.
Yep.
Wow. Ew, that doesn't sound as cool when you put it like that. Yeah. So yeah, it goes all the way out. Okay, let's take a look. Go back to Lower Lake Area Plan. Okay, this is where I feel like we need to make a stopping point because it's going to be easy for me to set up a table with these in a document that we then send out to all the LAPACers and start gathering, like, check this box if you think this is still relevant. Check this box if it needs to be trashed, or check this box if we need to work together to update it or change it.
Yeah, because my next one was 3.2, high voltage transmission towers. No, underground.
Yeah. Then again, I think we need more cell phone towers so we can reach all the nooks and crannies.
Yeah,
too. We may
right.
not be able to.
We have two here on Hofbacker, so.
Oh, wow.
Can we make an ordinance that they have to look like trees?
Well,
Do you know how butt
there
ugly those
is.
trees are?
I
mean, we
Yeah,
could,
they sure are.
but
They're almost uglier than the towers
they
themselves.
jump out at me when I'm in an urban area. I can see
Yeah,
big
but
trees,
you don't look
big
at the
trees.
tower that I look at. That take
That's
away
true.
from my beautiful hillside.
Yeah, no kidding.
Now-
You're right.
I just have to say there is a big high voltage electrical transmission line that comes out of the geysers and goes right down the hill for me. I'm on Perini Road, and it goes across
Yeah.
Perini Road and heads east towards the Sacramento area.
Interesting.
And it's already there, and I don't think,
And it's
They're gonna move it.
undergrounded?
oh
No.
Oh,
No.
You know, it's a great
Like
big,
Y, where you
yeah,
have all those big towers and lines going across.
Oh, yeah,
and a
I
Y.
bet.
yeah,
yeah.
the big tall steel kind,
Yeah.
way up there.
Huh.
So, I mean, that's already there. I guess what they're saying is that we don't want any more of them.
Well, I don't see the undergrounding anyway. 3.2 to me is encourage programs, soil erosion, Lower Lake. Which 3.2 are you looking at?
323.
Oh, 3.2. Oh, there you go. 3.23. Okay. Yeah.
Which I'm not sure how that ties into soils and slopes.
Which, you know what? Also, high voltage electrical transmission is not under county jurisdiction. It's going to go in the PG&E easements and it's a utility. It's outside of our control.
Okay.
Right.
Well, so let's
So that one
eliminate
can
it.
go away. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So let's stop here because I think we're just going to it's going to be a little slower, but I totally appreciate that you've done your homework, Marty, and you're ready. Let me create this article or this document then with the tables, and I'll email it out to you guys. But before we totally stop, let's set up another day for a virtual meeting. I'm just worried that let's give us a few days so that I can get that out to everyone and people can look at it and send it back. And that way our next meeting will be going over the highlighted areas that we think we need to work on together.
Great.
So let's see.
Okay.
Next month. Where's my calendar?
Actually, this is November now.
I know.
It is next month.
Unbelievable.
I know. It's crazy. Okay. So next week, what 90-minute period? Oh boy. Nope. Let's do it on Thursday. What do you guys have going on Thursday during the day? Say like 1 to 2:30 the same time. Do you have anything open?
I'm gone from the
I'm
6th
gone.
through the 12th.
I'm good.
I could try and do it via Zoom, but I don't know that I'll have a good reception.
Let's set it up and hopefully some more LAPACers can join us.
Yeah, and if you want to move the time, I'm okay with any time during the day.
I have a management meeting and early. Let's see, right. Nope, I got 2 in-person meetings in the evening. 1 to 2:30 looks like all I've got that day. Unless we go
Okay.
early morning, which doesn't seem to help with people. But if you want to try, we could try like 10 to 11:30. You have a preference?
No, I actually earlier would be better for me. I'm going to be in Arcata, meeting. And it's a 4-hour drive, so I was probably going to drive back that day, but I can drive back early or I can drive back late.
I can do, earliest I've got is 9:30 to 11.
Okay.
That works?
Want to try that?
Sure. Yeah.
See if anybody else can show up. Sorry you can't make it, Marty.
Yeah, sorry, Marty. But, Marty, you've already got most of that done. Just translate it into this table I'm going to send you and send it back.
Yep.
Okay. Thursday, 9:30. Thursday the 7th. Where am I? Lower Lake. Oop. Stop it. 9:30.
9:30 to 11, right?
Yep.
Okay.
Virtual. All right. Excellent. That'll give me this weekend to get that list done and out to everybody. And awesome. Okay. So I will see you all. Well, I'll see Marty on Tuesday.
Yeah, Marty, she'll make it. I'll bet you.
Oh, yeah. I'm counting on it.
All right.
All right. Thanks, everybody. Have a good weekend.
Thank you. Bye-bye.